Hello and welcome to My Xbox and Me, episode 321. I am one of your hosts, MC Fixer, alongside the one and only. I can't do it this week, Crash.
Why can't you do it?
Because you're looking crazy, bruh. You're looking like me a week ago.
Not inaccurate.
You know? The beard, you're looking like it's the Christmas holidays before it's the Christmas holidays.
Accurate.
You think that? Do you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying though, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, it's like that. I feel like you took a week off, yeah, because you overslept, and like you've come back this week as Father Christmas. If we dyed your beard white and put a Christmas hat on you, 100% you would get by as a Father Christmas. What do you reckon?
Is that what you want me to do next week? For next week?
No, I'm thinking December 20. Wait, let's check. Wait. That's fine. You keep this look, yeah? We actually put an episode out on Christmas Eve this week, this year. 24th. I want a Christmas edition of Crash.
We'll see what I can make happen.
We'll see what happens.
No promises, we'll see
Of
what
course.
I can
All
make
jokes aside, how are you, dude?
happen. Not too bad. A little tired.
Yeah. I'm bro. Do you know what? I'm so happy. I'm so happy. It's mad. Like, okay, so for everyone who doesn't know, we were meant to record yesterday, myself and Matt P video, because yesterday was Thanksgiving over in America. Happy Thanksgiving to all our American listeners, of course. So Crash obviously wasn't going to be able to be on the episode. I'll be honest with you. I got caught up in a 10-hour GTA roleplay session, and I just said to Matt straight, I was like, fam, I can't come off. I'm sorry, bro. There's too much going on right now. So sorry to Matt P for not being on the episode this week. It's not actually his fault, so we can't hate him. He's not dead this week. It's my fault. I got caught up in the GTA session of GTA roleplay, and I'm absolutely loving it. And it's put me in such a good mood for, I don't know why. It's got me out of my gaming rut. It's got me back in the gaming spirit. I'm having 8-hour sessions. Mate, it feels so good. I just finished 8 hours. I just finished an 8-hour stream onto this podcast, and I still have this much energy.
Completely different. I would say it's a new fix, but this is like an old fix.
It's an old fix. Yeah. I respect that. If you don't know what My Xbox and Me is, it's our weekly Xbox podcast here on youtube.com/myxboxandme, and of course, all podcast services. If you want the show early, head over to patreon.com/mcfixer. We need your support. I've seen a couple of people coming over and supported on Patreon. Number one, I appreciate you. Thank you very much. You mean a lot to me, and you are helping us grow. First and foremost, thank you so much for the support. I appreciate it. Number two, go and rate us on iTunes and all your other podcast services. I'm literally looking up the podcast reviews right now, just to have a little look. See, just see, is there another one? Did we get a new one this week? When was the last one? Wait. No new one, but I'm sure they will come in. That will be our Christmas present from the My Xbox and Me audience. More reviews.
That's what we want.
So we're asking for. We're only asking for that and some support on Patreon. It's not a lot. Remember, shout out to the Patreon producers, Erengard and FNH Paul this week. We haven't really got a topic of the show this week. I'll be honest with you. Due to the fact that there isn't much news, number one, there just isn't much to talk about this week. So I hope you're not expecting a really long episode, because you're probably not going to get one this week, unfortunately. But we do have some questions, so we're going to jump straight into Fix's Sack. And the first one says this: Dear My Xbox and Me crew, I hope you are all keeping well. Prior to the start of the year, I was looking forward to playing the problematic 12 minutes. And whilst in the minority of those who enjoyed my time with it, little did I know that a contender to the loot mechanic crown would emerge later in the same year. No, I'm not talking about Deathloop. I'm talking about the Forgotten City. I can't say too much without impacting on the quality of your playthrough, but the narrative is compelling and rich. I'll also say that there was a month between my first and second session with this game because I hadn't gotten far enough for the loop to happen. Imagine playing 12 minutes for only 11 minutes and 59 seconds before returning to see what all the fuss is about. Once it happened, things get interesting. As you rush to complete your respective Game of the Year list before you go loopy, I implore you to devote some time to the Forgotten City. Thanks for all you do, Laurel, I believe I'm saying that correct. Original Cookie Man. Great email. Thank you so much for the suggestion. I've heard good things. I'm not gonna lie. I've heard good things about the Forgotten City. I haven't checked it out yet. I am very behind on my Game of the Year list. Let's just say that I've already said that I'm thinking about taking a large portion of time away for December just to beat video games that need to be on the My Xbox and Me Game of the Year list talk for January. That first week in, we're doing first week in January, second week. Do we know?
I don't think we've set an exact.
We were meant to have a meeting by now that we just haven't had yet. So I'm assuming first or second week, we'll figure it out. Depending on how many games you've all beaten and needed to have beaten. But yeah, I will definitely add this to the list to try. It might not be my jam, as you know, but I will definitely take your recommendation on board and check it out. Chris, you gonna try to check it out or?
Yeah, I will. I remember this getting announced and me being interested in it, and then it just sort of came, and I heard rumblings about it, but it's just one of those that I never got around to playing.
Fair enough.
Definitely with this recommendation, check it out before the end of the year.
Fair enough. This next one comes from Toplift91 and says, what are you guys hoping to see revealed / predicting for the Game Awards? The Game Awards will actually be happening next week. Is it the 5th it happens? I believe is it the 5th or the 9th?
I'm not sure.
I think it's one of those dates. 9th? 5th? 5th or 9th?
It is the 9th.
The
December
9th. So
yeah.
So we've got
That's
a
like
couple.
one
So
and a half weeks.
next week, yeah, I know. It's always at a really terrible time for me, if I'm being honest. Yeah, it's the only. To be fair, I skipped it last year. I'm not skipping it this year. I'm gonna go set up in the front room.
You don't know what they're gonna show.
You never know. Jeff Keighley, you just bloody never know. I tell you what, Top Lift. I know we said we'd do this next week. I said I'll do it this week because I thought we'd have all the crew on. I'll save this one again for next week, and we'll do like a 5 predictions each and see who can get the closest episode, and we'll have Kresh and Matt on hopefully to make that happen. But yeah, man, I'm very excited for the Game Awards. I have to say. I don't know why, but Jeff he's not had any bad shows as of lately. All of the content hasn't been what I've necessarily wanted, but I don't think he's had any bad shows as of lately. Unlike the year prior when we had Summer Games Fest, which was kind of a bit all over the place. I felt like this year he done a lot better job, though he popped up bloody everywhere this year. I still feel like it was a better job of. I would rather him pop up everywhere than have 10,000 shows and a live stream at 11 o'clock and then one at 2 o'clock and then one at 10 o'clock. And yeah, it was just a bit too much last time. So yeah, what are you looking forward to the Game Awards or?
Yeah. I mean, I think this year will be interesting because we also have a lot of games that had gotten delayed into 2022, which hopefully we'll be seeing more of those. And there's quite a few studios that have maybe not shown gameplay or haven't announced what they're working on in a minute that we should be seeing some stuff from some people.
Yeah. No, you're totally right. I feel like there's a lot of games that I'm expecting to see, which doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to see them. And then I'm hoping it's those games that I'm not expecting are the ones that they're the ones that make you go bananas, right? So they're the ones I actually care about. So yeah, man, I'm really looking forward to it. I cannot wait for the Game Awards, and yeah, we'll do a prediction episode next week for everybody. So make sure you tuned in for next week. It'll be topic of the show. Next one comes in from BT Maverick 707 and says, "Good day, gents. Good day. I hope all is well. This week's question is kind of pandering towards Too Fresh Crash, but would love to hear the thoughts from both. Is what would you guys think if Xbox uses the next Killer Instinct brand to incorporate its own Xbox All-Stars into that style of fighting game? Imagine Doom Guy versus Marcus Phoenix, Master Chief against who's that, Crash? Who's that? Who is that? What's that from?
Robotic guy. It's from Killer Instinct. Fulgore's from Killer Instinct.
Oh, I'm dead. Come on, you would never. You stitched me up there, BT Maverick. I don't know who that is. The character. Oh, it says the character from Killer Instinct.
He did nothing.
Oh my god, he didn't even stitch me up. He just was like, "Fam, just read this question first, and you'll know what's going on." Oh my god.
I feel like anytime you have any problems with questions, it's generally you talking.
It's me talking shit. I know, I love it. The character from Killer Instinct, and so many more possibilities. Also, what character would you guys like to add to my imaginary dream team? Somebody pay me. Patent pending. Corey the Gaming Butcher. # hot potato. I think there's some great characters there, obviously, Gresh, and this is for you, so talk to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, Corey. If I've recommended that they do that on this exact podcast before in the past, so I'm gonna have to challenge that patent. Yeah, no, I think this is like a really, I want to say an obvious move if Microsoft decides to go for Killer Instinct again, because they did it with the very last season of the Killer Instinct.
You had Ram, yeah.
You had Arbiter in it,
yep.
And then you had Rash from Battletoads as well. They were all really.
Oh yes, yeah. I remember that actually.
So it was characters that didn't even necessarily fit that format of game, but they made it work into it really well. I would really love to see that. I think that would be a genius move. I think to start off, I think they should just go in with maybe one guest character and just a Killer Instinct roster and solidify.
Do you think so?
The game at basis. Yeah, not go in right away with like this big crossover type of thing.
Oh, okay.
You get a really solid fighting game first, and there's a possibility that they could do the big crossover and get a solid fighting game at the same time.
What about a battle pass where obviously the game's going to have seasons? Every bloody game has seasons nowadays, and fighting games are no different, right? What about if you had, like, at the end of the first season was your Master Chief? Let's go with actually Master Chief, because I think that's a great character to convince people to want to get to level 100 or whatever, however it is they decide to do it. And that is your free, and it's the free one as well. It's not the paid version.
I don't think so. As far as fighting games are concerned, battle passes don't generally unlock you characters.
Okay.
And if Killer Instinct were to do that, I actually think that would be a really bad move.
Okay. Why?
Because it's you're trying to force people to buy like the level 100 to get like that last character.
True.
But also just in an uneven playing field for most people, where it's like, here's a season pass, you can buy it for like $20 or whatever, and you'll get the 5 characters or whatever that comes out, and they'll come.
I suppose in the same breath as well, outfits is different. Yeah, I suppose you are right. Yeah. I suppose a whole character is probably a bit much, because then you've got some people that have the character and there's no other way of unlocking it unless you did. Yeah, you are right. You are right.
I think I do like your train of thought, and I do think for like that first season, not battle pass wise, but character release wise, having the final character be a Master Chief, and when they announced that season, them showing off everybody and having little teasers, and then at the end having Master Chief or whatever it is. Which I don't think they would do Master Chief. They'd probably just do a Spartan, because even with the Arbiter in Killer Instinct, it's not the Arbiter you play in Halo 2. They made a statement about that. Like, they didn't want to mess with canon and lore for Halo, so they're like, this is just a Arbiter. It's a different Arbiter.
Really? Do we really need the really?
Yeah.
Really?
That is more so for the Halo fans, because Halo fans get very, very mad about that type of stuff.
Oh my god.
So I don't think we'd see Master Chief. We would see somebody with, it'd probably be armor that's very, very similar to Master Chief, but it'd probably be the character would be called Spartan.
Yeah, Spartan
Yeah.
101 or whatever, whoever it bloody is. I mean,
Yeah.
that's so okay, sure. Oh my
Yeah.
god,
But
the internet, the internet.
I do think something like that would be cool. Especially as we're seeing Microsoft's roster of characters increase.
Yeah.
Something like this is also more interesting, right? We're gonna see Fable coming back and having even using something like Killer Instinct as a promotion platform for Fable, for like one of the characters in Fable to show up in that game, be it that Fable or one of the older Fable games. I don't think it necessarily has to be that exact, just something representing those franchises. I think that could be really cool. I do think that if they do come back with Killer Instinct, that is absolutely the best move for them to make with.
See, I like the idea of it being more of a battle royale, not battle royale, Jesus. A All Stars. Yeah, I know. I've just got battle royale on the brain. An All Stars though. I know why you're saying make the game first, build it out afterwards. The problem I find with that is I don't care afterwards. Once that initial game is out, it's out, and I understand. I feel like an all-star game has a chance of actually getting more casuals in, where adding Marcus Phoenix at the end of season 1 or whatever it may be, to me it's just like, oh, okay, then that's something I can ignore. Where an all-stars, even if it was like Killer Instinct all-stars, and it's like the Killer Instinct mechanics, graphics, all of that, but it is Doom Guy, Marcus Phoenix, the list goes on. There's so many people now that they have that can be a part of it. It's I would much prefer a whole subtitle, Killer Instinct All Stars, and then boom, that is how we go.
Look, Fix, I'm a Killer Instinct fan.
Yeah.
And if that's the ultimatum you're giving me, I don't want any other characters in my franchise.
Are you for real? Like, would you actually be paid?
No. I'd be fine with like if they were to do like here's like doing a full mix of it. My only worry is that if you do a full mix of it, you can get really lost in like let's have all these characters and sort of slip up on the base. Where you're talking about like bringing new players in, like what's going to keep those players there? It's a good fighting game. It's not just the characters existing, right? Because we've seen the Nickelodeon game come out, and that's been a pretty big miss, if we're going to be honest, for a lot.
Yeah, but that's not Xbox, and that's not Game Pass, and that's a $60. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but it's still like you want people to stay attached to this game because fighting games also have a huge drop off.
True.
So will the power of those franchises be enough to keep it? Like maybe you are right, and maybe that is the move. I don't see it from a fighting game perspective, and maybe that's not what they should go for. Maybe they should go for a more casual perspective.
We spoke about this. We spoke about this 2 weeks ago about Xbox not having enough casual games and them saying they want to be in the casual market a bit more. Can I be totally honest with you? Though Xbox now do have more iconic characters, I still don't think they have enough to build out a roster. Without it being like Blink's the Time Sweeper. And like, and they don't hit the same way Crash Bandicoot or Snake hits. I'm sorry.
Yeah, what they like. The problem is a lot of them are also older franchises and franchises that haven't really been thought of. That they sort of have to bring back into the limelight.
The pirate from Sea of Thieves, like
they could do that. They
could. I get it, and I get that's what they would. But that's what it just doesn't hit. It doesn't hit the way. Seeing I don't know, Snake or one of these other characters. I suppose you could maybe do like.
The thing is, like,
go on.
Even if you look at something like Smash, a large amount of the roster I think falls into that category. But they do have those more iconic franchises that do pop up, and you're like, I recognize that immediately.
I suppose you got Minecraft Steve. You got what's the kid in Psychonauts? What's his name?
Oh man, I'm like people are gonna hate us.
Oh, I don't even care. I don't even care if they hate us.
You do have that as well. But my question would be like,
yeah.
When you think about a game like that, it's also very different when you're talking about like a traditional 2D fighter as opposed to what.
Oh yeah,
Smash,
you've got
a lot of people are talking about is like a platform fighter, where you're knocking people off stages and all that type of stuff. And that is a very, very different thing. And if that's something that Microsoft wants to approach, I'm absolutely fine with that. But if that's the case, keep it like
Away from
10
your,
feet away
keep
from
it
Killer
away from
Instinct.
Killer Instinct. Okay.
Yeah, like you can have a Killer Instinct character in that, but that better not be Killer Instinct, 'cause
But
that
what
is,
about if we never saw Killer Instinct again without
I'd
it
rather,
changing?
I'd rather that be the
But
case. Than
you
it going to
also,
platform fighter.
I get that, but you also understand that Microsoft own, like, that
Oh,
would be an
look,
IP that they can't. They've got to use
I
it.
understand.
Like, yeah.
I understand. But I have a question as well. Would making a platform fighter and attaching the Killer Instinct name to that be beneficial to the game? For when people go to play the game?
For me, absolutely not. Like,
I think it works bad in both ways, because I do think there'll be a lot of people who are excited for Killer Instinct and go and play that, and they're like, what is
this
this?
isn't it.
This is
Yeah.
not Killer Instinct at all. Like, it might be good, but this is not what I wanted. This is not what I expected, and they walk away from it. But it'll be interesting to see what Microsoft does as they get more IPs, because I do think a platform fighter could be something Microsoft could do at some point.
Yeah.
I don't think that's out of the realm of possibilities. I remember early on in the Xbox One life cycle, they I want to say invested heavily in, I forget what it is. It was a platform fighting game. It was like 16 bits. I'm forgetting the name
Oh,
of it off the top of my head.
bloody
Ori
hell.
was in it.
Yeah, you. Oh my god,
I
you could
played it.
change
It
the
was a fun
background
fighting
and
game as
stuff.
well.
It was on Games with
Yeah.
Gold very early on as well.
Yeah.
I think
It was
IB or something.
Rivals of Aether. Rivals of Aether.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Rivals of Aether, yeah. It was a fun game. So I definitely think once they have a bigger roster, they could maybe go to that studio, maybe go to a different studio and actually build something out. Especially as we're seeing like a rise in platforming fighters with WB's game,
Yeah.
and Nickelodeon's game, and everybody seems to like be wanting to put something into it. I think Microsoft could do it. I just think Microsoft needs to wait a little bit to get more, to bring some of their older franchises and some of their newer franchises and sort of establish them as characters as well.
You know what I think it is as well? I think it comes down to the right people making it, which is so important. To me, I think that's the most, maybe even the most important thing.
Yep.
It's, you need the right people working on this. And until they have that, they have to just wait.
Oh, I absolutely agree. I don't know if you've seen, but they're making a League of Legends fighting game, and that came out recently, and they showed a little bit about it.
Yeah.
But that's just the case of point of like the two guys who started Evo are working on that game. They also did Rollback Netcode. They know what they're doing for fighting games.
Yeah.
And so it'll work perfect for that. And Microsoft would need to go into a similar situation of having people making it, whatever it is, being the right people for the job to make the right game as well, and really having it be a success in all fronts. I will say also, I'd be very interested how the esports scene for a Killer Instinct 4, a next Killer Instinct would do, with how successful Microsoft, at least at the starting bit for Halo Infinite, has been. Because I don't know if you saw, but Halo Infinite had, I think it peaked at like 150K viewers.
Yeah, we spoke about it last week. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty huge. And to see if they can continue that and then sort of start spreading it into other games, and especially something like Killer Instinct, would be pretty huge. So yeah.
Interesting. Thank you for the question, Corey. We appreciate you. Thank you for always messaging in. Let's jump into what's been in our box this week. Crash, what you been playing, my guy? We've been playing 2 weeks. What you been playing?
Playing Halo Infinite. I've been playing a lot of Halo Infinite.
Are you only okay? We've both. I've played Halo Infinite as well. Have you played anything other than Halo? So we can talk about Halo after.
I've played Halo Infinite.
Okay. I guess we should. I guess we should talk about Halo Infinite then. Well, the audience hasn't heard your thoughts at all on the game because you weren't here last week when it got surprise released. What do you think?
I really like it. I think it's really, really good. I think all the maps in the game are good. I think most of the weapons are good, with the exception of maybe 2 or 3 that need some balancing and changes.
Which are?
I think the Commando's a little bit underwhelming. I know they nerfed it from the beta. I think it could use a little bit of a buff. I think the Needler is a little bit underperforming for me personally. I'm sure most people find it fine, but I feel like it just kills a little bit slowly. And there is a third weapon that I cannot remember off the top of my head that I was not the Ravager. That's what it is. It's the one that shoots like a plasma field or whatever.
Okay.
I feel like it's really inconsistent in power and stuff like that. But other than that, I really enjoy it. I like the sandbox. I think a lot of that's fun. I think the game itself is fun. I think the biggest issue is probably the progression, which they've done a ton to help. And I think as far as gaining levels currently, I think it's at a pretty decent spot.
I stopped playing Halo Infinite multiplayer.
When did you stop?
Well, after the fix has come. I've played it since the fix. I don't like the progression system at all. I really don't like the progression system. I've enjoyed playing Halo Infinite. There is no question that it is a phenomenal multiplayer shooting game. It controls well, it looks well, balanced very well in maps. The two biggest gripes that we had last week with it were the progression system and I felt like the objective team modes, you are not rewarded enough for playing the objective. That frustrates me a lot. But I'll start on the progression system for one. I do not like... I get that they've added the new stuff in, which is like you play it, you get 50 XP, if I'm not mistaken, right? For just playing a match. I don't like being dictated to what I can and can't do to progress. And I understand there's a little fix there with the player match get 50 XP, but if I have a pop-off game where I get a ton of kills, or I play progression, or I play Griffball and I've held the ball for the most amount of time, I just don't feel rewarded. If I play Capture Point, I don't feel rewarded for sitting on bloody points. If I play Capture the Flag and I go capture the flag, I don't feel rewarded. And that is my biggest gripe with Halo. And I know what most people are probably thinking. It's like, but does it feel good when you get a kill? Yes. Feels amazing. Feels fantastic. But I'm playing the quick play playlist most of the time. That's the way I play the game. I log on, I play quick play, I want to experience all of the modes. I just want to have a fun time trying to beat the opponent. That is all that I'm trying to do, right?
Yeah.
And there's nothing more deflating than coming out of a match where you've been the best player in your team by playing the objective. I'm not saying kills, because that's not the point. If I'm playing Griffball, the objective of the damn game is to hold the damn ball as long as possible. It ain't to get 20 kills. And I'm still sat... What is it?
It's oddball.
Oddball. Why do people call it Griffball?
I had to... I don't know. I've never heard it called Griffball.
I think it might be a Rooster Teeth thing then.
It might be.
Oddball. All right, cool. Well, I've been saying that wrong for 2 episodes. I apologize. Oddball. If I've held the ball for 2 minutes... and I've held the ball longest over both amount of teams, and yet I'm still 4th on my list because I haven't got a bunch of kills. It breaks my heart and makes me feel I'm not playing, and that's why I don't play anymore.
To be fair, kills, assists, and the time you hold it all count towards the game.
Agree, I understand that, but what I'm saying is, if you are somebody who is holding this ball, you are not getting kills.
Yeah.
But that is the objective of that mode.
I disagree. Because, like, if you're just holding the ball when you're getting attacked and there's people pushing you...
No. I get 100%. I agree with you. I agree. But I'm talking about... I feel like a quarterback, bro. I'm killing a guy. I've got my teammate to the right, my teammate to the left. I've dove on this ball. I've grabbed it. I'm sprinting around. I'm jumping. I'm trying to punch a guy in the face. I'm doing, like, everything I can. And I just don't feel rewarded. And then I look at the score sheet, and it's like, I've held the ball for 2 minutes and won us the match. Jeffrey's got 20 kills, but he ain't done nothing apart from sit in the corner and get 20 kills. He's not protecting me.
Wait. But he is. No matter where he is getting kills, he is protecting you.
Doesn't feel like it.
No matter what cases, if you say he's somewhere getting kills, he is protecting you.
It doesn't feel like it. You're right. You're right, but I don't feel rewarded. I don't feel rewarded.
Cool. But it's still up to you. You still have to be getting kills. Like let's keep.
How can I get kills if I'm holding the ball, fam?
You have to. If you're getting bushed, you drop the ball, you get the kill, you pick up the ball. You should be getting kills.
You think I'm that good? I can't do all that.
But then you're playing. But then you're not playing. You're not playing as well as you should be. So then the
Nah,
question is,
bro.
should you be higher on that scoreboard?
I should be, fam. I'm holding the ball, and then like
Just 'cause
I'm
you're holding
playing,
the ball.
I'm playing the checkpoint mode, yeah, and I'm jumping on the checkpoint, and I'm running from A to B, and I'm getting it. I'm sprinting back. I'm getting a kill, jumping back on, and then I look at the end, and it's like, yeah, you got 4 kills, or you got 7 kills, or whatever it is I got,
Yeah.
but this dude, he didn't even jump on B once. He did nothing. But he sat back and had a sniper, and he got a couple. I just don't feel rewarded ever.
I get what
And
you're
then at the end of the game,
Yeah.
like it ain't like Fortnite, bro. Where like every time I play Fortnite, I'm like, man, I get this. I feel, bro, I get it. I am these 12-year-olds who would like want participation trophies.
Yeah.
This is me now in Halo, bro. This is me in Halo. It's me in Halo.
I get
Like
what you're saying.
I think the problem is I've been playing COD so much and I play Fortnite so much that no matter what you do, you feel like you've been rewarded. You get a couple of kills, you log out, that bar goes up. No matter what, that bar goes up. And I might not even understand why the bar's going up half the time, but it's going up. In Halo, I'm playing it, and the bar. I was sat on level 1 after playing the game for like 7 hours, and I was like, what is this? And I do understand they fixed that now, and there's a lot of changes now, and we are moving a bit better now, but it just sucked the joy out of it for me. That being said, I understand Halo's an amazing game. I think Halo's an amazing game, but these are the gripes that I have with it.
They're fair, but I think people also need to recognize that A, it's a completely free-to-play game,
Yes.
and B, it is a battle pass that lasts forever, and
That's what I
because
don't
it
like.
lasts forever, it needs to change.
That's
right.
that's what I don't like that it's I don't like that it's 3 months long. I don't like it it's forever. Like I don't like that. Do you know what I mean?
The reason it takes so long is because they're probably like, well, this lasts forever, and we need it to last a long time.
It needs to last.
like,
That's the problem.
How do we operate? So I do think it is like them slowly figuring stuff out, and the game is technically in beta according to 343, which I don't know.
Okay.
Say it's in beta. We'll keep it in beta, but
like Fortnite was in beta till all the way through chapter. Yeah, I think Fortnite's still technically in beta if we're not mistaken. It doesn't have achievements still, right?
It does. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know either. I don't know either.
It would have been an absolutely false statement. I have no clue.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I do think they have stuff to figure out. They had a new event came out, Fracture event. Some people are not super happy with that as well. I do think honestly it is just them sort of figuring out how they want to award XP and how to balance it well with a battle pass that lasts forever, right? Because the way I'm currently playing, I'm getting about 10 levels per week, which means in 10 weeks I'd finish the battle pass, which is fine for me. I have absolutely no gripes with that personally, with the way it works. I do think that there's ways they could give you more, like why you don't get any amount of XP for medals. I feel like you should be getting some sort of XP. And it doesn't have to be anything drastic. It doesn't have to be like 50 XP a medal. It could be like 5 to 10 XP per medal, right?
Just reward me.
Yeah. So I think they do have stuff to figure out. But I also think it is kind of a weird positive thing that the only complaint people really have is the progression, and the game itself is good.
The game's amazing. Right? Not good. I think the game's amazing. Yeah. It's not good. It's amazing. Yeah. Like it's, bro. I said this last week to Despawn, who was on the show. Shout out to Despawn. I'm playing it and I'm going, oh, it feels like Halo, and people are playing it and going, oh my god, it feels like Halo, and I'm like, wait, did the others not feel like Halo? And everyone's like, no, and I'm like, oh, okay, interesting. But it feels like Halo, but in all the best ways.
Yeah, it's a really good mix between where Halo 5 was and some of the older Halos like Halo 3.
2 and 3. 2 and 3 is what I keep hearing.
Yeah, where it is more fast-paced than those, because I do think those were way too slow to exist today.
Yeah.
With just looking at other games. But Halo 5 might have been a little bit too fast-paced, and the whole thrusting, everybody getting thrusters and all that stuff might have been a bit too much. So I do think it's a really good midpoint. And then you have something like the grappling hook that just feels absolutely fantastic in the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do. There are some stuff like customization. I think like the base customization they give people is a little bit dry. And I understand it is a free to play game. It makes sense. You're supposed to also unlock stuff in the campaign for customization. So that makes sense as well, where you're supposed to be getting stuff like that, and it's technically out. They released it. It's a beta.
Yeah.
It's a beta, as they like
Yeah.
to say. So there's stuff that'll get fixed in time, and they still definitely have stuff to work with. But it is all from a cosmetic perspective and a progression perspective, which I think is really cool. I also I've been playing ranked. I've actually really enjoyed ranked in this. I think it is.
I've not even
very
played with a
fun.
team yet.
Really, you've only played by yourself?
I only played solo.
Halo with the boys.
No, fuck you, lot. You couldn't even turn up for the podcast last week.
We're not gonna talk about last week. We're not gonna talk about last week because if we talk about last week, there's multiple blame to go around to everybody.
Look, yeah, the narrative is driven by me on this show, yeah? I control the narrative. So if I say that it's your guys' fault, it's your guys' fault, all right? How about we agree that it's Matt P's fault?
I can't do that.
You're such
Not
a
after
piece of
this
shit.
week. I can't do that after this week.
What, because I wanted to play GTA?
Yeah. Yo, we're not gonna talk about it. We're not gonna talk about it. Justice for Matt P. Anyway,
let's get one thing very clear about my Xbox and me, yes?
yeah, go.
I might not be the most reliable to reply to a message, but if I do reply, I'm always here.
We could leave that for another week to discuss that.
Bro, this is some bullshit, man. This is some fucking bullshit. Some fucking bullshit. There's turmoil in the my Xbox and me of staffing. I want everyone to know. There's turmoil. There might not be a show next week. You won't be here, fam.
Start an off channel.
Absolutely not. Bro. You can talk about Nintendo Wii all you want, alright? That's up to you.
Talk about our Xbox and our Wii.
Okay, I rate it. What else have I been playing? I played some NBA 2K. Not that anyone cares about that. New season. I care about it. I'm enjoying it. More 2K feels amazing. Love the rewards. I think that's it, you know. I think that is I think that's it for what I've played. It's just been the GTA roleplay, but nobody gives a crap about that here, so not to be worried about. Let's jump into this week's dashboard, Crash. First thing we're going to start off with is all about it's not even really all about. I just want to talk about the Xbox Museum. Did you have a chance to check that out?
I did.
What did you think about it?
I thought it was cool. I thought it was a really interesting piece. I think it's something that I want to say Spotify started, but I might be wrong with Spotify. That they started with the music, where it's like they show you everything you've done in the year, and I feel like since they've done it, everybody's been sort of starting to do it. So it's cool to see it come into the gaming space. I believe some places had stuff last year.
You got to think. PlayStation did have technically PlayStation had Sackboy, which is very close to it isn't quite this, because it's like a whole game based around this. Is what not Sackboy, Playroom.
Yeah.
And so as much as I love this, and we're going to talk more about this, there is a little part of me that's like, I wish you would have been able to get a dev involved and made this a game the way PlayStation did.
Yeah. The thing, I guess, like with them pushing cloud, they really could have, and it's like it's something you could just launch.
Play anywhere.
Yeah. But I don't think it's necessary.
It's not necessary, but 20th anniversary, this is though this is very, very cool. It's the history of Xbox, and if everything back from the original Xbox to 360, you've got Halo in there, going through all of every single Halo thing that was released. Like, don't get me wrong, it looks phenomenal, and it's so built out well. But imagine if this was a game.
A game you launch, and then from going to it, you could go to the Halos, and then you get to the Halo section, and then you can launch Halo from that.
Whatever. However it is, this is we're getting closer to the metaverse.
I remember reading a message where I was like, "This is Xbox's metaverse," and I was like, "Fix is gonna be happy about that statement."
It's partly, bro. It's weird how this fat tub of lard, being me, cares about the metaverse. That's going to be so much exercise, like, constantly, if there's a metaverse. Because it's like VR, got to move around and shit, right?
No.
Ain't we all gonna be on one
You
of
have
those?
to
You know
move
the big
You
hexagon
don't have to
thing?
do that in VR chat.
Oh, that's a great fucking point. You don't.
Yeah. You're good sitting down, bro.
Ah, man, I'm even more excited now, Chris. Give
Yeah.
me the metaverse.
Good, bro.
Give me the metaverse.
Uh,
No, I just thought this was a really, really cool thing to go. Obviously, they announced it at the Xbox event thing that they were doing something. We didn't quite know the ins and outs of it, but to give you a full history of Xbox, giving the full history of Xbox, number one, and then giving you your whole history, like being able to see what some of my earliest games were. So for me, I had do you remember Hexic? It was like a game that came built on the hard drive for me, if I'm not mistaken, or it might have been one of the free to play games. It's like some weird hexagon game, and like it was like Bejeweled and like those type of match free games, sort of thing like that. That was one of the first games I ever played, and seeing like the 360 was the first Xbox I ever owned with this game attack, and I was like, damn, yeah. It kind of broke my heart a little bit because I was like, well, I did have an original Xbox, but I couldn't afford internet back then, so I could never have connected it to the internet. And then showing me like the most, you know, when I get annoyed at people for saying, oh, you play shooters, and then you look down your history and it's like Rainbow Six Siege, the Division, Division 2, Call of Duty, and I'm like, yeah,
shooters.
I guess I do play shooters. I guess I like games where there's guns. I guess I do. There's proof to match it now. But what did you think of it overall, of like all of what they showed?
I thought it was actually like really, really cool. I think it's something that's really needed, and Microsoft seems to be really interested in preserving gaming's history. Well, you could argue that one of the reasons is because whoever preserves history can paint the narrative, right?
That's true.
But it is something that I think is greatly, greatly needed in gaming in general. I think it's something that is completely looked over. I think a lot of people independently put it on themselves as opposed to the industry doing it. So seeing it in some sort of formal capacity is cool. I like the people-based stuff, like the first day you logged in, the first game you played, your top played games, all that stuff I think is really, really dope. Can you guess what my most played game is on Xbox?
What Xbox? Or just
Xbox. It's pretty easy to guess, I'm gonna be honest.
I guess Smite, maybe?
It's Smite, yeah.
Yeah.
There's 2017, 2018, and 2019. I think each of those years, my most played game was Smite. And then after that, I moved over to playing Smite on PC.
That's why I thought.
Yeah, that's why I was.
Oh, maybe it isn't Smite because you play on PC. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was, for me, it was nice to jump in and be like, this is the first day you logged into Xbox Live, and I'm like, seeing that and then instantly going, fuck, I remember that day. Yeah. And I don't have a great memory at the best of times, but sitting there and being like, I remember getting my 360 at Christmas and playing with my brother. I remember when we first got internet, and I remember taking my Xbox downstairs, plugging it in, playing Pro Evolution Soccer 6, and my mum coming home from work and being like, what on earth are you doing? And be like, Mum, look, I'm playing with a guy in Brazil. And her being like, okay, you're weirdo. So, and like, I just remember that, and I remember that so fondly, and like to have something show me, it's weird, but to have something that shows me like I'm not lying about everything.
Yeah, like you didn't misremember it. Like, oh,
yeah, man. It's like no, that
absolutely.
did happen, and like it's like I wish though it goes pretty damn deep. If we're being honest, I wish if they've got all this information, I kind of wish I could see what was the first sports game, what was the first shooter, what was the first puzzle, what was the first action. Like, I'd love to get even deeper and nerdier with it. It was nice to see like your rarest achievement and things like that as well. I think it just showed it showed and played big homage to Xbox for doing this, and it just felt natural, and I think that's the most important thing. It didn't feel scummy. It didn't feel egregious. It didn't feel like anything like that, which is the most important thing for me. It's like, here is our history. Celebrate it.
Yes.
So
I agree. Have you watched any of the Xbox documentary so far?
Is it out already?
I believe didn't like part 1 come out or something like that?
Maybe. Bro, if I'm in Los Santos right now, and I'm trying to get
I could
and I'm trying to
absolutely be
get a
wrong about
record
that.
deal, fam. I'm trying to get a record deal out here.
Trying to
All
get a
right.
record deal in
Yeah,
Los Santos.
I'm in Los
It's not bad.
Santos right now.
I'm probably
you know?
wrong about it.
No, I haven't. I'm sure. I thought it was coming early December.
You might be right, and there might have been something else Xbox going on conversation wise, because I do think there was a discussion happening, and I'm probably misremembering. So ignore what I just said.
We'll see. Let's get through some of the rest of this news. Next one, Halo Infinite multiplayer will add more weapons over time. The head of creative, Joseph Staten, has confirmed Halo Infinite's multiplayer will add more weapons over time. During a recent quickfire interview with Game Informer, Staten recently spoke about the number of weapons in Halo Infinite currently multiplayer, confirming to fans that that more weapons will come in the game in due course. They have no time frame for it as of yet, but it's a pretty safe bet to assume that more weapons would be coming to the game in due time. Does that get you excited, Crush? Is there any weapons not in the game currently that you would like to be in the game?
The needle rifle, which is a weapon I don't think many people are asking for, but it was only in Halo Reach. It's really the only gun that I would want. Other than that, like, I don't like the Spartan laser isn't in the game yet, but I don't really think there's, other than like nostalgia reasons, I don't think there's much of a reason to have it necessarily.
Yeah.
But I think that's the case with like a lot of the weapons, and so I do think whenever they bring it back, it would have to make sense for the map. But also, once Forge comes out, there's more of a reason for them to bring stuff, even if it necessarily doesn't fit in a map.
Gotcha.
On top of like whatever they decide to do with the campaign or that campaign world, if they decide to add stuff to it, it makes sense for them to add weapons whenever they're like, well, here's this whole new section, or here's this whole new bit to explore, and we're gonna throw in a Spartan laser there for you to do stuff, and we're gonna throw in these weapons, the old shotgun as opposed to the bulldog, I forget what it's called exactly off the top of my head, and things like that. I do think there's a lot of room for them to go with it. Also, like it being quote unquote a games of service at this point. I don't know what they're like viewing it internally as, but if it's gonna last forever, they do have to bring in new stuff at some point for the game.
Yeah.
Both brand new weapons and new in the sense of it's not in the game, but it has existed in the universe as well. I think it makes sense, and it is also something that I think could be cool to change some of the map, how the maps work, to bring in new weapons and stuff like that. It all makes sense.
Fair enough. I am really happy that like you and everybody who seems to care about Halo is enjoying this so far. It gets me very hyped for the campaign. It really does.
Yeah. Also, like a lot of the previews for the campaign have also been really positive.
Yeah.
Which I think is exciting for that as well. Because I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't expecting. The previews have been sort of giving that campaign more hype than I was expecting out of it. Like I was expecting to enjoy it, and granted, they only played, I think it was the first 4 hours or whatever. So it could very much be like, this is the beginning of the beginning slice of the world, and you're gonna have all the stuff sort of working cohesively in the beginning, but then as it goes on, it sort of deteriorates in some places. That's of course a possibility, but hearing so many good things from so many people is actually pretty dope to see for Halo.
Definitely. Speaking about something that's not dope, I guess. I mean, unless they wanted to. We'll find out in a second. DICE's head of designer, Fauzi Mesmer, leaves the company following Battlefield 2042's launch. As reported by VGC, his departure was announced via an email sent to DICE staff, and it, quote, revealed he's been planning to leave for some time once the studio's latest shooter has been shipped. Okay, so it's all good. Battlefield 2042. Full transparency, I was paid to play Battlefield 2042, part of a activation for them. So take what I say with a pinch of salt. Oof, that game, not good, not great. I mean, the game, what is there is fun, but just the amount of broken stuff in the game, it turns me off. personally. It doesn't. I think if you put me, you, and 2 other people together and play the game, you can have a fun time with it. But there's certain, like, I remember watching Shroud play, and Shroud was flying, I should say, sorry, a jet, and he was just bouncing off of walls because none of the walls had collision damage, and you're like, what?
Yeah,
and then like there's certain vehicles you can literally, maybe they fixed it now, but at launch, you could literally land on the side of a building and drive straight up. And there's just lots of things that you're just like, how?
Yeah, and honestly, it's kind of worse solely because it is a $60 game that is multiplayer only.
I mean,
it's not like there's a campaign that sort of, because the thing is, like, if there is a campaign and there's bugs in the multiplayer, it's at least like, well, the game's bigger than that. But now the game is just the multiplayer. So it's like when issues like that come out, it just makes them more apparent and more like, why wasn't that fixed? Because this is all you have is the multiplayer. You don't have anything else really.
To me, it just seems very apparent that the game should have been delayed. The game, it's not a bad game, obviously.
Right.
There's no. You're not going to catch me sitting there saying it's a bad game, because it's not. But there's just very. I will play it. If someone was to say to me tomorrow, can we play Battlefield all day long? Yes, all day long. I had so much fun while playing it, but it just, you can tell that it needed a couple of months. It needed till January maybe, and I understand why they didn't put it out. I get it. I wonder if they would have baked it a little bit longer if they knew Halo was coming. But you know, what is done, unfortunately. Speaking of more Battlefield, Portal mode already has its own Battle Royale mode. It is 100 players, as you would expect. There's a bunch of rule sets and stuff, and you can go check it out in the Portal mode if you care to do so. So shout out to the amazing creative people in this world that are able to do this stuff. It's ridiculous.
I think in the long run, Battlefield 2042 will probably be worth it solely for the Portal mode.
Oh, 100%.
The stuff people will do in that is absolutely ridiculous. Have you played the Portal mode at all?
I haven't. No, I only played the other 2 modes. For the sponsored thing that I was doing, it was to check out Hazard mode and what's the other mode called? Crap, I can't remember.
The one where you capture points.
Yeah, I can't remember what they're both called, but I had such a great time with it. Really enjoyed playing with Midas and Marcus and Geeky Cassie. And they had never played before. So it's me. It was really weird. It was me explaining Battlefield to them after I hadn't played Battlefield in a really long time either. So I was like, all right. And I'm out of all of them, I'm a bloody god at shooters compared to them. So I'm out here getting like 12 to 15 kills a game. And then you got Cassie out here who's got 1 kill and screaming like, oh my God, I got a kill. Oh my God, I got a kill. And I'm like, all right, this is interesting. Next one is there's been a teaser leaked, or not leaked, teaser put out, sorry. Anytime I think teaser, I think leaked. A teaser put out for, quote, the end, end quote, of Fortnite Chapter 2, which will conclude shortly. The event's meant to be starting the 4th of December, 1 p.m. PT, 4 p.m. ET, and 9 p.m. GMT. These are always really big, these events that happen, whether it's the Ariana Grande or the Trevor Scott or the what else have they done? They've done a couple others that I'm missing. The Marvel one they did, didn't they? They did a big was it a Marvel one?
They've had Marvel events. They had one with Thanos, didn't they?
Yeah, I thought they had
the Gauntlet where it landed or something like that.
Something like that. They had but yeah. These events. I remember when you used to be. You was the Fortnite guy.
I was the Fortnite guy before you were the Fortnite.
Can you imagine if you would have stuck at that? You might be a World Cup winner. I
asked my friend to play with Fortnite with me, and then my friend was like, "That game's stupid. I'm gonna stay playing PUBG." And
if I would have stuck at PUBG, I would have been famous by now as well. You know,
as well. Like either of us just needed to be like, oh, we're just gonna stick to this game.
One of us. But yeah, that is happening. So you can check out the end of Fortnite Chapter 2 real soon. Will they turn off the whole game again? Who knows? Who knows?
I think, Fortnite has a chance. I think it has a chance. Let me rephrase that. Do you think Fortnite will regain the popularity it had? because it's sort of whittled down.
I don't think it doesn't have the popularity that it used to have. I think it doesn't have it within gamers. But I think outside of our zeitgeist, do you think it's ever gonna punch it into the game, like the hardcore gamer world again? No.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
No, because we're always searching for new.
God,
do you know what I mean? We are unfortunately what's new. But I know for a fact a few of my cousins still play, love it, play it on mobile. It's whatever.
For Thanksgiving, I had a couple of my little cousins over.
They playing it?
Fortnite, yeah.
There you go. Yeah. So
I understand that it's still popular.
Yeah, I think the problem with it is it would have to do something super drastic, like no building. Like generally, I feel like that would be so much of a pull to us, the hardcore casuals. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah, that don't want to like. I want to play the game. Like I love games and I really want to play that game. I just don't want to learn how to build.
I don't actually want to learn how to get good at it. I just want to play it. So they'd have to do something real drastic, and I just don't think they're ever going to. So, yes. Next up, if you've been a lucky Xbox fan, you would have been getting yourself an Xbox anniversary gift pack, which a couple of random fans did. At Credible Hulk 4 put up a picture of his. It's the Xbox logo. It looks like a cube. I believe it's got his gamer tag on it, a whole light system. It's got a year of Game Pass. It's a Fan Fest package with a Halo controller in it as well. It's thank you for 20 years of a keepsake, sorry, not a sweepstake, a keepsake kit that they sent out to some Xbox fans, which I think is amazing.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Am I upset I didn't get one? Absolutely, I'm annoyed.
Fix got upset he had to buy himself an Xbox mini fridge.
I was...
Let alone, like, he didn't get this.
You've done me dirty there, mate. You've done me so... That's actually a lie. I never even reached out for a fridge. I could have easily have emailed the right people and said, hey, any chance I can get a fridge? But I didn't.
Yeah, but it's different when you gotta ask for it. It's different. You know it's different. That feeling is different when you're offered it and when you gotta go and ask for it. It's just hit different. Don't mean you couldn't get it. Just hit different.
No comment. I played the fifth. Should we leave it there? Should we give him some more? Should we leave it there? What are we thinking? Is
there anything else to really talk about?
I think the only story that I would like to maybe get your opinion on is this one, which is Marvel's Avengers Spider-Man DLC has no story mission.
Shocker.
It's not a big deal, and it doesn't affect us here over in Xbox land at all. At all, it doesn't affect us. But did we make too much of a big deal about this as Xbox players? Because we're not getting Spider-Man. Number one, if you've watched the trailer, it looks like dog shit.
Yeah.
So is it? I don't know how do I. When I say it looks like dog shit, I'm being mean there, and I don't mean it as mean as it comes across. I mean, in comparison to Insomniac Spider-Man, and it's always going to get compared to it. It is unfair. It is not fair. But it's always going to get compared to it. It doesn't look great. It actually doesn't look like dog shit. That was me being super hyperbolic. Super hyperbolic.
That's incredibly unfair because people said the same thing with Thor, that Thor didn't play like Kratos. And it's like
that's totally different.
It's very similar. It's like
no. It's very similar. Wait. It's totally different. It's Spider-Man. Spider-Man. Thor is not Kratos.
You throw something that you can press a button to come back to.
If you want to start doing that, you could do that with a lot of other characters, and then everybody's technically everybody. Have you seen the meme going around about how you've met Adele? Have you not seen it? Yeah, like if you've eaten in a restaurant that Adele was sat in before, then you've already met Adele. That's what you're trying to compare this to right now.
That's not what I'm trying to compare. People made the comparison when the
No,
game
I'm
came
not.
out. They were
I'm
like,
not saying they
they
didn't.
wanted Thor to play like Kratos.
I agree.
And I think they're both as equally an unfair comparison.
Okay.
because those games
disagree.
are dedicated to what you're playing as.
Okay.
The Insomniac game is dedicated to Spider-Man and the web swinging. The God of War game is dedicated to Kratos and the axe throwing. Could Thor's hammer have felt better? Sure, but that wasn't their main focus. Their main focus was making a fully cohesive game with all the multiple characters.
Their main focus.
I'm not saying they accomplished it. That's what their goal was.
That was their goal. You're right. I'm just okay.
there's-
Looking at it, I was just like, oh, why did I even get upset about missing out on this?
Well, in hindsight, no need to get upset. At the time, if Avengers ended up being as successful as people wanted it to be, like, of course, I can guarantee you if I don't want to say guarantee, but I feel like if Avengers was more successful,
Then we'd be upset.
I'm sure that their budgeting also got decreased. I wouldn't be surprised if they had planned to have some sort of story stuff for Spider-Man. And it's
No,
like, well, this
I
is your
disagree.
budget now. You don't think so?
I disagree. I don't. If they had planned story stuff, we would have known about it because they would do anything they could have to have clawed us in. Like, well, maybe the Spider-Man. We did it with Black Panther, bro. We thought Black Panther was gonna be good.
Well, when I say story stuff, I don't mean like Black Panther was what would have been their. It was considered an expansion, no?
I think they actually dubbed it as the expansion.
So yeah, that was an expansion. The Spider-Man stuff would have never been an expansion. When I
No,
say
it would have
story
been.
stuff,
It would have been like
Hawkeye or whatever.
Hawkeye and Kate Bishop.
Yeah,
Yeah,
content wasn't that good either. But that's beside the point.
I like that content.
You can like it. You're allowed to like it.
Fair enough. I'm not trying to be as hyperbolic as I actually was. I was trying to have a bit of fun there, and I do apologize. What I was gonna say is I don't think it looks very good, and now I'm not as heartbroken about it. I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. I love Spider-Man. He's probably my favorite Marvel character of all time. I grew up on the 90s Spider-Man cartoon. So anything Spider-Man I want to consume. But this I'm looking at and going, I'm alright, I'm okay.
Because it's attached to the game, but people don't want to play.
No, because I played a lot. I put a lot more hours into that game than most people.
Yeah.
And it's not the game that upsets me. It's just looking at him. I'm like, oh.
Not what you wanted. It's kind of the difficult thing about creating characters, like adding characters from another franchise that are in the same medium, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
It's still a third-person action game.
Yeah.
Even if like it plays drastically different, and you could argue that it is more of like an RPG looter type game than Insomniac's game is.
Yes.
But ultimately, they'll still be compared, no matter how unfair that comparison necessarily is. But yeah, no, it's a case of like when people weren't talking about like the release date was announced, nobody was really talking about that. And then this drops, and the only thing I hear, and mind you, I don't even hear that many people talking about it, is how bad it looks. That's like a really bad sign for the game. Because like usually if the game was more popular and people liked the game and Spider-Man came out and he looked bad, you generally see a lot of more people talking about it, even people that don't really care about Avengers.
I guess. But all I'm saying, Xbox fans, don't worry about Spider-Man. Don't worry about Spider-Man. All right, don't worry about it. It's fine. Crash, we made it to an hour. Let's plug and get ourselves out of here. What do you have to plug this week?
The My Xbox Me YouTube page, My Xbox Me Twitter page, My Xbox Me TikTok page, My Xbox Me the email account. You guys could go in there at any point and send in a question email at any point. You guys could leave comments on the YouTube. You guys could tweet at us. You guys could even go to the TikTok, and I don't know the last time a TikTok was uploaded, but leave a comment on a random TikTok and Potato Squad, and somebody will see it and somebody will be happy. Any of the other ones, I'll actively read it and I'll actively see it, and maybe you'll get read on the podcast. If it's a question, it'll go in Fix or Sack, not the way you're thinking of. It'd be read out loud for us to discuss.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I got to plug.
I respect it. my big thing this week that I'd love for people in the UK to check out, first of all, I am going to be on TV. I've been on TV the last 3 weeks, but I'm going to be on TV again doing Game Master. So for those of you who don't know what Game Master is, it is like a cheesy gaming show that came out in 1992. People really loved it back in the day. They've brought it back, and I happen to be a guest on one of the episodes, myself and Son, my friend Son. We play a game, there's a bit of talking. I hope you guys enjoy it. Episode 1 is already out. For people in the UK, you can watch it on E4, their TV channel. It's going to be on at 10 p.m. on the 1st of December. And if you missed that, make sure you go record it or whatever you're going to do. Take pictures. Maybe I'll pick a winner. If loads of people send me pictures, maybe I'll pick a winner, because I love seeing people's TVs and me on it. I love that. I'm not going to lie. And for people who want to watch it earlier than that, you can watch it on YouTube on the 28th. So I will put a link up on my Twitter account, maybe turn notifications on for the next couple of days, just so you don't miss it. I don't think I quite understood how big a deal this was to be on this show, because I've been so, as you lot know, very busy as of lately, doing 101 things. And it's only now that I've finished and I've taken a step back a little bit, I'm like, that was really cool. I'm happy about that. That was really cool. So, yeah, man, I hope you guys can check that out. It would mean a lot to me. And, yeah, man, I appreciate you all. Hopefully Matt P will be back next week and we can talk Game Awards. But until next time, we will love you, leave you, and see you all later. Goodbye.